Hi there, my name is Genny McGregor and I'm from the Good Food Institute. And we're a nonprofit network of researchers, scientists, innovators, and entrepreneurs who are all coming together to make groundbreaking good food a reality. So what good is it to talk about food if we're not eating it too? So what I brought for you today is a sample of, yes, and by all means, I'm not a firm believer in delayed gratification either. So I'd love for you to be able to enjoy this. In fact, I used to work in commercial kitchen management, and so often people would say, Jenny, how do you not just indulge in absolutely everything that you make? And I would always correct them and say, we don't call it indulging, we call it quality testing. So let's go ahead and quality test a couple of options that are in front of you today. One is a plant-based meat substitute, and the other one is cell-based or cultivated or clean meat. And what we're going to do, we'll circle back and talk a little bit more about the science behind that and the different varieties. But I wanted to make sure as we embark upon this conversation today that we dispel any myths or assumptions, if there were any, about the quality of these products. I think at one point it was very common that if you thought about a meat alternative, it was more like sort of a mushy lentil patty or now sort of a tired quinoa burger. But the innovation has come so far. And the wonderful thing is not only are these delicious, like you're trying, but they're also sustainable. They're better for the environment and of course a lot better for the animals and also really healthy for the individuals. No, I appreciate you asking that. They are actually healthier because, again, I think that's kind of a bygone thing where if somebody wanted to replace an animal product with something, it wasn't all that healthy. Like a while back, if you didn't want to eat butter anymore, you ended up having to put margarine on your toast, which of course has a lot of trans fats and chemicals. But these days, thanks to scientists and technology, we have like what you're eating there, the plant-based one, just has really fantastic plant protein as well as good carbs and good fats. The cell-based one or the clean meat one is really, and yes, that's a good distinction to make. It is nothing to do with cloned meat. That involves a lot of genetic manipulation that is entirely different animal than what we're talking about here. With the clean meat, it's a tissue that's taken and cultivated in a laboratory. So there's a lot of surveillance over it. And so you're not going to end up with any sort of viruses or any sort of disease-causing bacteria, which also makes it really healthy too. And what I wanted to share with you today, and feel free, I know you're eating, but feel free if you have any questions along the way to just ask me. But what I wanted to mention to you today is that your customers, they have access to all of this information, at their fingertips. Back in the day, it used to be that you kind of had to wait to waddle into fifth grade health class and look at the food pyramid to see what you were supposed to eat, and then maybe wait 3 or 4 years for the USDA to update it and then see what you were supposed to eat. But this stuff is happening so quickly and so rapidly, and your customers have access to it. And I know how hard you work to keep the operations and logistics and the back end of these restaurants running. So what I love about one of the missions of the Good Food Institute is that we have scientists on board who are gathering all this information for you, and then they're bringing it literally directly to you, and with a free meal to boot. And so we act as almost kind of like a bellwether for new innovations and new trends that are coming down. And again, I have this information, I'm going to leave it for you, so when you have a chance to look at it, because there's a lot of really wonderful things in here. But in our conversation, I wanted to draw out just a couple of things that I thought were really fascinating. So if you look at all your potential customers, what you're going to see now is that 54% of them are actively looking to find plant-based meat substitutes in their diet fairly regularly. These people, might be a little discouraged about finding it in the grocery store. They might not be able to secure it, and if they see it in their local market, it might be a little daunting to figure out how to prepare it and season it to where it's something they like. So what's wonderful is you could start offering these options at your restaurants. So when they come to your restaurant, they'll see it on your menu and they'll feel so good about it because they've been meaning to do this for a while. And this is a great opportunity to try these plant-based meat alternatives in a way that's going to taste phenomenal. I know, because your chefs are going to knock it out of the park. But it's going to taste even better to them because because it makes them feel good. Check it off their to-do list for the day that they were able to eat something that was meat-free and absolutely enjoy it. And it's that kind of customer experience that's really going to elevate your revenue. And it's also going to, the customers that have been coming in time after time, I'm sure you have very many loyal customers, are going to start to see little, different menu options pop up. And that's going to mean that they're somewhere hip, right? That they're somewhere trendy and progressive. And that's going to make them feel really good too. And almost equally as important is not just the customers that are now really becoming far, far more loyal to your business, but also the operations teams, the chefs. Again, I've been one, so my heart is near and dear to these kitchen operators. And there's nothing they love more than working with a blank slate of new ingredients, right? And the innovation behind what you're eating here has gone far beyond even just, the ground beef and the sausage, the fake sausage. And I mean, we're now talking about scallops and seafood. We're talking about chicken and cream. And, they're even making pulled pork out of fruit. The stuff, and I know, but it is awesome. So the things that they're coming up with that your chefs can use is really going to invigorate your kitchens. And there's nothing better than an excited kitchen with that energy, because it is contagious, and it's going to go to your front of house. It's going to go into the dining hall. I mean, everybody's going to feel this. And chefs really love to work for companies that have their ear to the ground and are watching out for them in order for them to express their creativity on the plate. And so it's really going to cut down, again, on your kind of, turn and burn that we have a lot in the kitchen industry, and really keep your operations margins up too. So I'm excited about that. And I'm telling you, these trends, they're not going down any. This next generation is becoming far and far, more environmentally conscious. People aren't becoming any less woke as time goes on. And this is a fantastic industry too. I mean, it's a $4.1 billion retail market, this plant-based. And that's why a lot of companies have sort of jumped on the bandwagon in order to, get in right now. But what the Good Food Institute does is actually keeps track of the top 100 restaurants to see who is involving some plant-based alternatives into their menu, and also who's promoting it. And what we're seeing is that a lot are, obviously for the reasons that I stated before, you're seeing a lot more people starting to grab this market. But there's also 45 restaurants, so almost 50%, who haven't even gotten off the bleachers and onto the field yet. And so that's why I think it's a really fantastic opportunity for you, because progressive food groups are increasingly adding these plant-based alternatives to their menu and seeing the sales increase as a result. And that's what I really want for you too. And so what we're going to do at the Good Food Institute is work with people like yourself, the owners and the operators, the supply chain managers, also your menu innovation team, too, in order to sort of collaborate and see where we can go. Because the Good Food Institute has a great network also, resources with distributors, the manufacturers. So it's kind of like your easy button. You come to us and we will network with you and figure out exactly what products that your chefs are interested in, where we're going to get them, how we're going to price them, figure out your costs, and all work together to make sure that you keep up on this latest and greatest trend. And like I said, these numbers aren't going down any. So I'd really love for us to be able to work together. Oh yes, absolutely. This was my pleasure. And again, if you have any questions, I would love to be able to answer them for you. Yes, thank you for your time. It meant a lot to me, and I look forward to working with you soon.